Let's get this show on the road. Hello. How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? Mine's been great. But yeah, how's things? We have a somewhat unusual milestone to celebrate this time. Wonderful 100,000 subscriber mark. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a little verified tick next to my my channel name now, which is quite nice. Feels fancy. And I should be able to get the plaque soon. I submitted the request. They're waiting for it to be like verified by their team, and then I will get the plaque. Hello Simon, how you doing? How's things? Thank you very much. Welcome. I apologize if I am more static and low energy than usual. That's because I'm dying. I mean, at this point, when aren't I? But, yeah, it's been a long 2 months. Also, I don't know that I mentioned this last week, but, there's a very good chance that we might be buying this house from the landlord, which is pretty cool, especially considering we should be able to get it for a fairly reasonable price. And so yeah, I'm hopeful. Although we do have a drainage survey coming tomorrow and a structural engineering survey coming on Monday, of which the structural one is probably the most important because there's a lot of cracks. uh, and yeah, I don't know. So yeah, we'll see, but maybe. Also on Saturday, I go in for apparently a 1 in 25,000 chance of dying procedure, and actually worse, a 1 in 500 chance of needing emergency surgery. That's a lot lower. I think I worked it out. That's probably about a month's worth of their patients. So once a month, on average, one of their patients needs emergency surgery from this procedure. So yeah. Hopefully I'm good. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully I survive long enough to buy a house and keep making videos. But yeah, if you don't see a video on Monday, because I probably won't bother pre-uploading it, something's wrong. And if you don't see a stream on Thursday, something's very wrong. So yeah. But I'm glad we hit 100k before I go. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much. What's happened is I'm going for a flexible sigmoidoscopy. I'll try and there you go. Which, according to the documentation, has a 1 in 500 chance of perforating my bowel and will need emergency surgery, and there's a 1 in 25,000 chance that I just die. You know, there's a 100% chance of death when you cease to live. Do you know? I think you're right on that. I think you've hit the nail right on the head. Oh yeah. This isn't here for any particular reason. It's I'm doing a review on the Spanky projector, and it happened to be here, and I couldn't be bothered to move it, and I thought it'd make for interesting background. I guess in this case, armpit content. Hello ish. TechteamGB. Indeed. Is it there? Is it about there? There you go. Yeah. No. I've had a really, really, really bad week. If I'm being totally honest. I have an awful lot of gastrointestinal discomfort, pain, and suffering. Uh, so yeah, I've had a bad week. Also, there's a good chance that we might need structural work done to the house before we can actually buy it, so that's also a pain. But hopefully it's just whatever it is underpinning, and that's not too bad. That's some good odds. There was a 1 in 10 chance I'd be fat, bald, and ginger, and I got the short straw. 1 in 25,000 is much more manageable. Yeah, I mean, the 1 in 500 of having perforation of my bowel is less good. Quark, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Yes. Some ups and downs this week, perhaps. 100k subs. Awesome. Utterly horrible week in terms of my health. Not so good. Thank you, Joe. So yeah. Has there been anything interesting happening in tech this week? Because I have been very, very out of it. 100k, that's genuinely insane to think about. If you put 100k people in one space, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, I mean, 100k is more people than almost all stadiums can fit. You know? Like, that's pretty crazy. So yeah. What was it? I only know this because of the H Bomber guy video on the Roblox Oof. Great video, by the way. That Beijing's Bird's Nest National Olympic Stadium has an 80,000 seat capacity. So yeah, if hypothetically I could get everyone to every subscriber to the Beijing National Olympic Stadium, there'd be 20,000 people that need to like stand in the middle, you know, in the mosh pit. Thank you very much, Dancing Shiba. Thank you indeed. It's only been 12 years. It is kind of funny when you see existing large channels who have then like started a second channel, not uploaded a single video, and they get 100,000 or sometimes even 1 million subscribers. That kind of stings a bit. But hey, I'm at the first milestone. At the current rate, it will take me another 100 years. Tech news: you can buy a $10,000 flame-throwing robot dog. I saw that actually. That's horrifying. It's kind of wild that that's like that just a $10,000. Like I would have thought that the robot dog costs more than $10,000. You know, like that seems like a more than. Like I know that it's Boston Dynamics, whatever, but like still, a bit mad. I've not been keeping up too much of tech news. I've been busy, mostly EK stuff. But Edvard made an apology video and hoping they can sort issues because I'm actually a big EK fan. I didn't see any updates. Jesus. What was the response? Is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm not well. Oh dear. I gotta keep leaning back so that I don't crush my very gut. 100% stings. I'm 9 years in and still at 8k. You'll get there. Trust me, it takes a while. Hello, John. How's my health? Bad. I've had a very bad week. Very bad week. Also, I'm going in for a what was it? It's flexible sigmoidoscopy, which in case anyone missed it, one of the side effects and the likelihood also perforation needing emergency surgery is only 1 in 500. Was the Cybertruck recall this week with the super fun acceleration pedal across all 4,000 cars? I think it might have been, because I don't think we talked about it last week. That's a fun one, actually. Oh, no, I can't say it like this. There are a lot of interesting things about that. So first of all, the actual recall is basically the Cybertruck accelerator pedal, which is just a potentiometer in a box with a pedal that moves it. It's like BMW. It's a floor-mounted hinge rather than a top-mounted hinge. And what they did was they put a vanity like plate cover on top of the actual plastic pedal itself, essentially. And then what happens is that pedal, especially if you stamp on it, the cover slides off, and then it pins itself under a bit of the underdash, and then you just get 100% throttle. So yeah, that's fun. But the more interesting thing for me is that they've sold less than 4,000 Cybertrucks. It's not a lot of cars. Like, that's less than the old rally homologation rules. Like, I think you needed 4,000 or 6,000 cars for the pre-Group B stage rally. So yeah, it's not great. Also, I saw that the frunk doesn't have any close sensors, so it will just chop your fingers off. The panels are all rusted, not rusting because it's stainless, but they're all degrading in various forms. Actually, no, I think some of them are rusting, which is even better, even funnier. And the frame collects water and then corrodes the wiring. So if you take it through a car wash or you wash it in sunlight, it apparently voids the warranty and ruins the car. And it takes 5 hours to reboot. So yeah. Bad. Basically, Edvard, the CEO, has taken power back of the company, is looking to sort out the overdue payments, the staff, fix the unpaid partners to get back on track. Time will tell, I guess. Okay, fair. I mean, that's good. I'm glad that it at very least seems like there's some proactive work going on. The Cybertruck in the current model is $100,000, so about £80,000, I think. But yeah. I'm not well. Me, 2024, 2023, 2020, just all of the year. Yeah, I got the palindromic rheumatism diagnosis when in 2017, and I had a duodenal stomach ulcer when I was 17, which was 2015. Yeah. I'd be 2014. I can't do maths. You'll be fine, Andy. Your parasocial team is cheering for you. Wonderful. Hello, Jim. What's bad about that? I paid for the whole speedo. I'm gonna use the whole speedo. Yeah, it's more when you use that, like on a nice long straight bit of road, perhaps on the autobahn. No problem, go for it. In your driveway. Is that the camera up here? I've had that yearly as my dad had both prostate and bowel cancer. Yes, it is. It's I've actually had one already for the stomach ulcer problems. And this one is just like the lower cavity. Does this have a picture? It might have a picture. Does have a picture. Warning, the word anus is on the screen. Do you guys like how open I am with you about this? Because I think some people would be like hesitant to share this, but I don't care. Hello, Harry. How you doing? And hello, Simon S63. How's things? Thank you, Jim. Where am I at? Apparently that number wasn't released even to shareholders. They did not want anyone knowing they sold so few Cybertrucks. Damn, that's bad. Almost like a gimmicky gadget company should not even produce cars. Maybe. What would you recommend for the best all-round monitor, not for competitive FPS gaming, but for some gaming, video editing, graphic design, general use, 27 or 32, 1440p or 4K? My personal preference for monitors is 27-inch 1440p. It depends on your budget and to some degree your preferences as well. I actually am quite inclined to suggest an ultrawide. One, because I have an ultrawide, and two, because it feels a bit more like a better all-rounder sort of solution. Because you for content and like more general use, it's great. For video editing, there's more space. For gaming, it's more immersive because you get a wider view. And so I kind of would recommend a 34-inch ultrawide. Specifically, the one that I use is the Philips Evnia 8600, the QD OLED. It is on the more expensive side. I think somewhere around 700 generally. Pounds, that is, depending on where you are. May vary, but yeah, in terms of not going for an ultrawide, I still, like, I've been gaming and editing on a 27-inch 1440p monitor for quite a while. Basically, since I moved from that 1080p one, I then moved up to 27-inch 1440p, and that's where I've stayed until I got this ultrawide late last year, I think, or early this year. So yeah. in terms of recommendations for that, I think an IPS panel is still probably your best bet. Although there are a couple of good like fairly fast VA panels, especially if you're not super heavy on like the competitive gaming, because they do have much better contrast ratios. They tend to be pretty similar in terms of their color gamut coverage and accuracy, but obviously that my brain. Sorry, this happens. I have ADHD and I'm very forgetful, especially with what I was just saying. I know I was saying something about monitors and a comparison between IPS and VA. Either way, I think IPS is where I personally prefer that, especially for the more gaming side of things. And some actual recommendations. God. Good question. Actually, do you know what the Evnia 5500W that I reviewed very recently, that is 32-inch, so it's a little on the bigger side. I'm pretty sure it's still 1440p, but it's 180 hertz. Great accuracy. I'm pretty sure it comes with a calibration report out of the box. Great brightness, and yeah. It was genuinely good. I think that was a curved VA as well, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, that would be pretty good. I've been looking at the AOC 27-inch 4K. Right. Okay. 4K is fine. I think I personally prefer 4K at 32 inches. 27 feels like a bit of a waste to me. It's a bit hard to find a benefit 4K at 27 over 1440p at 27. You know, unless you're here. So yeah, it's fine. There are some decent ones, and I think that 27, 28 4K is likely going to be pretty decent. But yeah, those would be my preferences. If you have any specific models in mind, feel free to drop the names. If I haven't reviewed them, then I can't comment specifically, but I can try. What do you mean not going for an ultra wide? When you're introverted, it's easier to whinge to strangers that are listening, willing to listen than people you actually know. Oh no, I do this to everyone. anyone who you know isn't instantly like weirded out by it. Fair game. I don't see the point in being like, you know, closed and sort of shameful of things that, you know, are gonna happen. Like, as you get older, you're probably gonna have one of these. So wouldn't it be good if you don't feel horrible about having to need one of these and feeling weird and kind of gross about it? Like, and be able to talk about stuff. Uh, 32-inch for 4K, 27 is too small. Great for 1440p. That's kind of my preference too, yeah. That comment isn't showing up on my screen. No, I think it's kind of the opposite. It's, yeah. Oh, the U27G3X. I'm pretty sure I reviewed that. So feel free to check out the video on that for my specific opinions. Because my mental capacity to remember every monitor I've reviewed is unfortunately somewhat limited. What I can do is I can look up the response time and color data. without too much hassle. U27G3X. Good indeed. Probably medium. Probably that one. Yeah, decent enough. Ah, nice. Yeah. I do prefer, well, as I said, I prefer ultra wides for if you're gonna have one monitor. That's my preferred solution. Second to that, I prefer generally 32-inch for 4K or 27 for 1440p. But as you can see from the 27G3X, I did like it, so yeah. I'm not sure if the curved will be any good for technical design like CAD. So I do CAD modeling for my tools. See if I can dig one out. Oh, it's trapped under the projector's tripod leg. And it's knotted. These tools! This is the open source response time tool, specifically the new Pro CS. And they're all knotted up. So I do that for the cases for those. Apologies, I'm sitting next to a radiator that's on and it's now way too hot. And I do technically have a curved monitor. It is a very slight curve in the monitor, so it's not a super tight radius. Oh. But generally speaking, you don't like do screen measurements with it, so it's generally okay. This is only part of the stuff that I've dealt with this week. The 15th gen Intel looks the goods after seeing some engineering sample results, but don't discount AMD next gen as the internal graphics will kill Intel. Interesting. That's kind of cool. I do like some competition. I have a 34-inch ultra wide. It's only 1080 and 75 Hz, but I love it for the screen real estate. Currently using the Pixel 34 UWQHD 165 Hz and a much better picture, but it's got to go back. Yeah. Oh, I apologize that you turned up right as I started to suffer more. I don't know if you noticed, I got the Nanoleaf controller back. I got the new one, finally. I'm genuinely tempted to hook up my oscilloscope to the data pin and read out the data from the controller so that I can make my own controller. Because it's getting really annoying having those things break like on cue every like 6 months. Like that is the 4th controller I've had. And while they're yet to charge me for a replacement controller, it's ridiculous. Dude, don't worry about putting on a face for us loons. Do what you need to do. Take a breather when you can at your own pace. Yeah. Fourth. So the thing, WAP, is that these are the controllers. This one's dead, so I don't care about showing you any of the fucking details. But basically, Nanoleaf know that these controllers die. And so, like, I've had this thing for 2 or 3 years now, and uh, this is so that this is already out of warranty, but because they know that they keep dying, they just keep sending you free ones. Um, I'm sure that will end at some point, which is also partially why I want to make my own, because, like, um, did you figure out why they keep dying? No, where is it? Da, 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 da. This is the inside of one. So what they have is the, like, communications board that handles Wi-Fi and Thread. They have the daughter board with the capacitive buttons and the LEDs. And then, what was it? Oh no, there is then a third power regulation and power input board. So that this board, the green one, is the microcontroller. You can see through there and kind of through there that is where all the magic is happening. This is just that one's just the input board, and this one is just the power board. They are three separate PCBs, but something on here is dying, and my guess is it's the power board, but I can't say for sure. Also, is that a... Oh no, that's a... The one that's labeled U5, that can, I'm pretty sure that can is a BME 280, so it's a pressure and temperature sensor. So you do designing on your curved? Yes, I do. I use Fusion 360 for the most part. Although I have done Blender. But for CamCAD, it is Fusion 360. And yeah. Oh, it just occurred to me that there is actually some antenna section on the power board section, so some of these headers must send back data to that antenna. It's interesting. Maybe I'll heat the ever-loving shit out of it to try and get it apart properly. It's super dead, so I don't care. Yeah. John, maybe. I wonder if it's something stupid, like it's just one of the capacitors, because the ones that are gold colored, so like that one there and that one there, and these two and that one, these are all surface mount capacitors, and these are basically, depending on what capacity or capacitance they have, they basically stack layers and layers inside that little chip, and if you put too much capacitance in there, that means too many layers, and they basically end up touching each other and shorting out and then failing. So I wonder if that's it. Because it's fully dead. Like, you plug it in, no lights, no nothing. So I do wonder. What's going on behind you? Looks like a projector. Yes, BenQ X300G. I'm reviewing it, I'm testing it, and this wall here is the only plain flat wall non-textured wall that I have in the house. So yeah. Crossy Online, I just watched your last YouTube video. So hi and congratulations for 100k. Thank you. No one deserves it more than you. Thanks. I think it's very amazing you developed a tool that so many serious video testers now use. Well, I think it's pretty cool too. And I'm glad that the thing that I made for me um, also applies to so many other people and that it's useful to so many other people. I think there is that sort of, yeah, special kind of happiness in making stuff that other people not only like buy but like use and get value from. That's fulfilling. Um, hello Warren. How you doing, man? How's things? Thank you very much. Uh, I'm sorry. Dance Shiva. I meant to add a bit more context there. I do CamCAD on my curve monitor, and again, it's because well, one, the curve that I have is like the tiniest bit. It's not one of those like Samsung 1000R monitors. It's like an 1800R. Like it's barely curved, so that helps. And then the other thing is that realistically, you're not doing any like measurements on the screen or anything. It's all you know. You use your very nears to measure stuff or whatever, and then input it into the program. And so the scale and whatever that's on the screen, the fact that it's curved, like it looks fine. And I've not had any problems with that. How many can you operate from the one controller? If you could reverse engineer it to make yourself one yourself, you might be able to fine tune it and tweak it to be better. Well, I have 9 panels, and I think it was something like 12. I seem to remember that they would control fine. The interesting thing is that I could probably probe this actually because they've very handily listed what all of those touchpads are. That would be resets, the top pad there, SWDIOs, next one, SWD clock, ground, VCC, and then RX and TX for UART. But so they only have 3 pins here. So one of them is ground, one of them is power, and I think it's just the middle one that's data. And so I have to assume that it's just doing a broadcast pulse from that I think middle pin that is then basically just daisy chaining data along the panels. The panels themselves have integrated circuits in them. I have to assume that is also basically a little microcontroller because it can tell the panel orientation. So it knows, like, you can look in the app and it knows what shape the panels you have stuck together are. And that's not from like you telling it, that's not from you designing it and then saving it. As far as I'm aware, that is from them knowing. So there must be some element of reverse communication. Again, don't know how that works yet, but I do want to hook up an oscilloscope and find out. um, so yeah. Hello, Richard. How you doing? And thank you very much. I thought about something the other day I wanted to ask you. OSRTT on an aggressively curved monitor, would the result be affected by the curvature slash glass panel? Um, there's a couple of answers to that. One, because of the shape, you can actually put it in a couple of different directions, and so that can help, like vertically versus horizontally. Also, horizontally, especially with a curved panel, is kind of how you have to mount it, because unless you want to hold it to the screen, which sucks. That's why I include the elastic. Um, but the other thing is that with all monitor testing, like all panel testing, you should be doing it in basically a dark room, because the ambient light, no matter what you're testing, no matter if it's a flat panel, a gloss panel, a matte panel, I mean, matte's worse because that's how matte works. But no matter what you're testing, and no matter what device you're using to test, so for example, the Datacolor Spider X2, that's the same. You should be testing in basically a dark room, or at the very least a low ambient light room, because the light from the exterior, like the sun, your lights, whatever, can hit the panel and reflect. And especially for the color data, that can throw things off. For OSRTT, it can add a bit of noise to the noise floor, and it can make some of the lower end results less accurate, because you just have more light than you should have. But it's also less susceptible because OSRTT is light color agnostic. It's why OSRTT technically works with DLP projectors that are flashing or flickering. But the short answer is, the shape of the panel doesn't matter, because you should be testing in a dark room anyway. You're talking about a sort of lens effect. So in that case, if you were using a camera type source, technically maybe, but OSRTT is something that you strap to the screen, and so if you think about, even if it was an aggressively curved monitor, OSRTT is only taking up a fraction of that space, and so effectively the angle of that glass to the angle of the sensor, which also doesn't actually matter, but still is functionally perpendicular, because unless the monitor is literally like a C, or a very closed circle, and that's a 27-inch monitor, which would not be usable, the angle of the glass in relation to the sensor itself, or the photodiodes, is functionally perpendicular, so also doesn't matter. By the way, where's your party hat, flashing lights, etc.? Shouldn't you do the whole YouTuber thing? OMG, thank you, guys. No, I'm not that kind of person. Yeah, no. Oh, I started to do Nanoleaf controller soon. Oh, and don't tempt me. Yeah, my party spirit is non-existent. So yeah, I mean, thank you, obviously, but yeah, I'm not one of those partying types. Should have had a party hat with a Jack D style enthusiasm. That's more my style. Oh, I don't know if you heard that, but that was my elbow. Major Matter Gaming, thank you very much. Is that just a rave scene that'll do? What, you want me to kill them faster? No thanks. When Andy hits 1 mil subs, he might even throw his fist in the air. Might. Not there yet. Have you done anything special to celebrate? It's so well deserved and such a long time coming. Long time indeed. My wife bought me a nice Viennetta to have. In fact, I'm actually going to have some after the stream. So, you know, there's that. Otherwise, no, I've been busy dying. Yeah, no, that's not quite an exaggeration, is it? I've lost a lot of blood. I had some diarrhea for 4 days. I passed out while mountain biking last Thursday or Friday. Yeah, I got back in from a walk yesterday, or was it the day before? And I collapsed and passed out on the stairs. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I have genuinely been busy dying. Thank you very much, Chris. When I'm not actually dying, I'll get back to you, okay? But right now, I'm not well. Which, speaking of, here comes the paint. Can't even see straight. Depre, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to. Yeah, hopefully. Well, on Saturday I will hopefully find out why I've been losing blood, and yeah. That's all right, Warren. I I shouldn't say that I'm used to this, but I kind of am. As I may or may not have said, this isn't the first time that a doctor has told me that I might die. Happily, they were wrong both times. But yeah, yeah. Do you know, Simon? I don't think it will. When the pain comes, just imagine Elon Musk looking at his Cybertruck sales or Tim Cook looking at the Vision Pro sales, and you'll be all good. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the other story this week, wasn't it? That Apple has cut the Vision Pro production way back because no one's buying them. Because at least to this current current gen, why would you? I've got the lovely task of dismantling a $2,000 LED moving head next week to figure out why it's not working properly. Thousands of pieces everywhere. Nice! Doctors have been wrong both times so far. Well, yeah, at some point. At some point they'll be right. Yeah. When you say LED moving head, Simon, is that like a spotlight type thing or display? Like what's the deal? People have been threatening to sue Apple because they've been getting pink eye and viral infections in their eyes because of the imbalanced weight and vacuum seal when wearing them. Amazing. Everyone can afford a $3,500, you know, for a stupid headset. Yeah, that can't do much. Yeah. Yeah. I think the fact that it doesn't pair to your phone and it doesn't um it doesn't last for more than a couple hours of usage. Like, admittedly, with my VR headset, the Valve Index, I don't care how long it would theoretically last on battery if it had one, because I can only really stand up for about 20 minutes at a time, at most. And, you know, I only really play Beat Saber, sometimes Pavlov, the first-person shooter. Basically just Counter-Strike, but in VR, it's great. Most people can't play it because of the whole moving in VR thing. I have no problem with moving in VR, but unfortunately some people do. Anyway, but yeah, it's rough. I can't imagine like having a VR headset and wearing it for hours at a time. Yeah. I just bought two MSI MAG 323 UPF panels. I watched your video after. Just as a side note, that's a very common thing. A lot of people seem to watch reviews after they bought something purely for confirmation bias, which makes any negative like comments or criticisms apparently sting a real lot harder, because they then often rage at me in the comments because I haven't validated their, you know, purchase, which I find very funny. But your actual question was... That wasn't a specific quote of you, by the way, that's just a general topic. Will the response time heavily affect the quality? I play Tekken 8 and various single-player games on PS5 and PC. Appreciate it. Let me double-check the data before I say something and then I'm wrong. It has... seemingly 3 overdrive modes. Interesting. Off is normal is bad. Fast is okay. A little on the slow side. But faster, the top one, is very bad. So to clarify, I would use probably the fast mode, not faster. Have a play, see what you feel. Obviously, like, it's all down to personal preference, but I have a sneaking suspicion I remember the overdrive being horrendous. Oh, right. Sorry, the music has stopped. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm currently watching high-speed footage. Actually, do you know what? The overdrive isn't horrendous. The overshoot, rather. So have a play between faster and... fast and faster. And see what you think. As for the quality, it's not the fastest monitor that I've tested, for sure, but it's certainly not bad, and I think it should be a reasonably playable experience. I seem to remember the latency was quite good, because MSI paid me to talk about the latency with the PS5. So yeah. I have reviewed it, and I did a sponsor video with it, for transparency's sake. I've become violently sick with VR. I know my friend Dan does. In some instances, in things like racing games, or in something like Beat Saber where you're stationary, or any movement that you do is, you know, very, like, translated directly, rather than something like Pavlov where you're moving with a controller, and yeah, your head follows what's happening, but your body isn't the one walking across the floor or whatever. He doesn't get on with that at all. That's like instant throw up territory. Same with like the roller coaster rides type ones. Anything where your movement is not directly connected, or it's a simulacrum. So maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator would be okay, actually. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, I am lucky that that is not a problem for me. It uses 19 ODRAM LEDs on a board that, if it gets broken, they're just under 1K to replace. Ouch. But fair. Da, 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 da. The stupid headset does look very much like the headset with the functionality I've been waiting for. Floating pin windows and stuff is something I'm looking for. Too spenny for me and first gen, but looks like the tech is much better than just a single full screen monitor for your eyes. I do agree with that. Yeah, I do agree. If I may inquire, what would you recommend for someone looking for something similar, 32-inch 4K lower latency? Well, Simon has given his opinion. An OLED is a great choice. Obviously, it depends on price. With that said, I'm struggling to remember what other 32-inch 4K monitors are on the market, and if I've reviewed any, because I don't know if I have. I did the MSI one. Oh, the Ebony is 240 hertz. That's right. No, it doesn't look like I have. But yeah. I don't know if there are any QD OLEDs though. 32-inch QD OLEDs. I don't know. With that said, LG's LCDs are generally pretty great. I really like the 27-inch ones that I have checked out a long time ago at this point. Oh yeah. I don't know. 32-inch 4K is something that I'm apparently out of touch with, I'm afraid. I'm moving from an LG C2. Gonna use it for the family room, and the 5600 was the sweet spot for 2 monitors. Fair play. Like I said, I'm sure that the 323 UPF is going to be a pretty decent choice. But yeah. Feel free to let us know how you get on with it as well. And I would be interested to see which of the 2 modes you prefer using. Fast or faster? Yeah, let us know. I watched 17 different reviews and comparisons multiple times and obsessed for months over before buying a GPU, then avoid any videos about it after purchase not to be too disappointed, and then they release a super. Nice. Also, Simon is right. If I haven't reviewed it, which by the looks of 4K 32 inches, I haven't. Hardware/monitor unboxed. I do great videos. Or Simon from TFT Central does great written reviews. All solid choices. And really, anyone who uses an OSRTT. As always, if I missed any comments, feel free to post them again. It's an LED wash moving head, basically a fancy power can. Okay, fair. Nice. Costs as much as full setup, including VR and an amazing monitor. Does feck all. People still buy Apple. What? Yeah. Does Tim have an OSRTC? He does not. He has had his own solution for longer than than OSRTC has been a thing. And so he did offer to if I wanted to send him one to do comparison testing against his solution. But I never got around to it because I got Simon from TFC Central to do that comparative testing with his tools. And since then, I've mostly just been spending my time developing newer, better versions. So yeah. Not to pester too much, but any opinions on 27-inch? I have more experience with 27-inch monitors. As I was saying earlier in the stream, my general preference for 27-inch is 1440p rather than 4K. Yeah, I would personally prefer that. There's quite a wide range of 1440p 27-inch monitors at various refresh rates. There are actually quite a few that are like 240 hertz as well that have come down in price quite a lot. Actually, no, one of my more favorable monitors that I've tested recently is the Asus XG27 ACS Alpha Charlie Sierra. I forgot what the letters were, not what the phonetics were. That's funny. But yeah, that would be my preference. Also, that you're not pestering. That's what these streams are for. You are more than welcome to keep asking as many questions you like, with the only caveat being I generally stop after an hour, and that hour is in 3 minutes. So feel free to ask any more, and also these are every Thursday night at 8 PM UK time, so if you do want to pop back next week, and I would happily, happy to have you, then you're more than welcome to do that, and you're more than welcome to ask any other questions. Hello, Essentialist. Thank you very much. Dug up my old mouse pad. It's got the old Corsair logo. It's probably 8 to 9 years old, but it's made of metal. Nice. Yes, if you want to stand out in the chat like Ish and Mr. Six question marks here, feel free to become a thing. I'm afraid, Simon. Yeah, you don't. YouTube doesn't let you. Do you think they will attempt to make a Gen 2 Apple Vision Pro? Hard to see it becoming too much better. Oh, absolutely. They most certainly will. Because all of the descriptions of this are it's 2 first gen, both in hardware, but I think more than anything it's first gen in user experience. There's just not enough stuff to do with it, and that comes with time, and that comes with an existing user base to build for. And as much as most people, I think, have tried it and then put it down, maybe even returned it, but and they might pick it up again in 6 months for a day and then put it back down again. I think that the main thing is that this gets them a user base to test and build stuff, and it gives them a user base to build stuff for. Although you are right, Essentialist. Yes. Joe, I'd be pretty pissed if I spent $3.5 on a Vision Pro and they brought out a new one, a similar price point, expecting me to spend big again. I wonder if they would do a trade-in thing. Like, trade it in and we'll give you $1,000 off the next one, you know? But yeah, it's the same as Microsoft HoloLens. The first one was like a good couple grand to buy one because it was really just a dev kit. It's Apple, they won't. Yeah, true. No worries, Harry. Thanks for stopping by. I was being generous, clearly. See you, Simon. And Joe, you're very right. Yes. I'm still surprised how solid the WMR ecosystem is. I mean, from your headset getting updates, I am too. Although I know that the index is still getting plenty of updates, although that is Valve. So anyway, I think I'm gonna call it there for this week. I hope that I get to see you next week. I'll let you know in the Discord how this is going, or how this goes. And yeah, I hope I will see you next week. Yeah. I'll have fun, stay safe, and yeah, hopefully see you soon.